That's what we're seeing. I mean, we just had Pacesetter Homes on our podcast, and what they were saying is they're in Regina and Saskatoon. They're looking at bringing 180 new properties to market. So that, and then you look at what Northridge is going to do, and a lot of like North Prairie and so forth, Ehrenberg. I mean, they're going to keep on building, but the demand that's happening right now, I think, outweighs what the new inventory will come onto the market.
For sure. Welcome again to the Bamford & Co. podcast, Beyond the Keys. I'm here with my brother Greg Bamford. We're going to give you a little bit of a market update for the start of 2025. Greg, can you give me a little bit of insight on your vision of what's happening to the market?
My vision. Yeah, for sure. So what we found is it slowed down a little bit over Christmas and the beginning of January, just like it historically does. But we've especially seen it pick up in the last probably week. It's interesting to see that we've got a lot more properties coming onto market, but our inventory levels, which the amount of listings that are currently on the market in Saskatoon, have actually lowered.
Right.
So we've got more conditionally sold than we have. So if you're just throwing out numbers, we have 572 properties that are listed or showing on market as of yesterday, and 141 of those are conditionally sold.
Right.
So the market is hot. I see it continually going to keep on going into this year, being that, and I think as interest rates continue to lower, we're probably going to see that much more activity.
Well, it's crazy to say because like last month we had over 250 listings and that means that we're less than a month and 3/4 of inventory basically for 300,000 people in Saskatoon.
You're saying sold last month?
Last month, so it's sold.
Sorry, sold,
right?
Not listed. Yeah, sold.
Yeah. But you're right, is that things are moving as fast as they are coming onto the market. So, we will see a little bit more activity and more properties come now that, we're going to be cruising into February soon, that we're going to have a little bit more activity out there from all spectrums of the market. But I do think that we're off to a strong start to the year, and more than likely prices are going to continue to increase with the demand that we're having.
That's what we're seeing. I mean, we just had Pacesetter Homes on our podcast, and what they were saying is they're in Regina and Saskatoon. They're looking at bringing 180 new properties to market. So that, and then you look at what Northridge is going to do, and a lot of like North Prairie and so forth, Ehrenberg. I mean, they're going to keep on building, but the demand that's happening right now, I think, outweighs what the new inventory will come onto the market.
For sure. Well, all factors are pointing with the low inventory levels, the interest rates. I do think that we'll probably see, and I'm not the specialist on interest rates, but,
right.
The way things are looking is, and even with the past elections, is that we've always seen that interest rates have decreased around there, right?
For sure.
So is it all in all factors, they point to a very strong market and more than likely a little bit more increase than I think that we had last year.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to throw out numbers of what we forecasted. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm right, but I mean,
you're pretty close. You're pretty close. Yeah.
In September, I was saying what the market's going to increase from September to spring, and I don't think I'm going to be very far off on what we suggested we were going to see the increase by, and that's just demand. I mean, we just wrote an offer on a property south of the city, and I think that they had five offers on it, and that's an acreage in the middle of winter, and it was minus 48 degrees Celsius outside, and there's still that many viewings. It was back-to-back booked.
For sure.
So
well, I actually saw one today that came on the market as a presentation of offers. Came on at 7 a.m. this morning, it's $6.99.
Yeah.
They already increased it to $7.30 this afternoon. They just adjusted the price. Just to kind of go
I don't know if I've ever I see builders do that.
I'm not saying that it's right,
but
I'm just saying is that it kind of gives the people a perspective on how much activity that they're having. Like if someone's willing to
$6.99 to $7.30.
I know, shocking, but you know what? They probably are getting 30 showing requests and looking at it and saying, okay, well, why are we starting a little bit lower?
And
right?
$6.99 to $7.30. I mean, that's a different price point too. I mean, not everybody can afford that.
I agree. I agree. It just kind of shows that the demand is out there, you know, and I agree is that we have, interest rates, immigrants that are coming in as well too, the immigration, that's going to be a big factor.
People moving in from around Saskatchewan,
Yeah.
right? Want to be closer to grandkids and healthcare.
Or from other provinces that are looking at the price point of our properties as well too, being a little
Right.
bit more affordable and being able to have a little bit different lifestyle than maybe what they've had in, you know, in larger centers or different
Right.
provinces around Canada, right? So yeah, truthfully, like we were talking about the interest rates, you know, about, I think you said about 10% increase and that kind of stuff. And I think last year we did, the benchmark had an 8% increase, right?
Right.
So that means that you're probably looking at some things were only maybe 5, but some things were probably,
I think
12
like
to
Meadow, I
15%.
think Meadow Green went up like 13%.
yeah,
Something, you know what I mean? And I mean on the west side of the city in that neighborhood that would never see usually that big of an increase, right? In our market, but it's now harder to find an affordable home anywhere in Saskatoon compared to what we historically saw with numbers, right?
yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, one thing that we used to have is that we used to be able to, when we started working with a buyer, and this is not in today's market, but when we were working with a buyer, we'd find them a property within probably 90 to 120 days. Those people would have already taken possession in a property. That historically is kind of like
Yeah.
what you could look at,
And we
right?
probably sold their house first.
And we sold their house first,
Yeah.
right? And now you can't put an offer in subject to your property selling, because if you do, you just won't have an opportunity.
I
'cause
tell my
there's-
clients we just move that one to the side. Like when, you know, like when we're presenting offers.
Well,
and
yeah,
it's
if you
like,
have 8 offers and some are subject to your property selling, why would you want to take that risk when you
Yeah.
have clean offers,
I agree.
right? And so there's so many different things that we can do to help our clients have an opportunity of winning out, but at the same time, you are buying tomorrow's prices, and I mean, we've been working with clients longer than I ever have in my, I guess, history in real estate, and I've
Yeah.
been in it almost 20 years. It's we can't sell your house until we find you a property, and then it's trying to maximize your return, right? Keep you in the market, but being patient.
Well, but it's also having that perspective on what you can actually afford and acquire in the market that we're dealing with, because
Yeah.
you know, a lot of times and sometimes we're doing an evaluation for somebody, setting that spectrum of saying this is your high end, this is your low end from what you can get from your property. With that information, they're going out and trying to purchase a property.
Right.
Right. Now, I think the one thing is that I've seen a little bit in the last little bit that, you know, not all properties increase in value on the same levels. Their demands are different, right? So if
I
you
agree.
had, you know, a nice big bungalow and you're chaining up to a 2-story, you're probably going to be in similar increases that the properties are going. But if you maybe have a 4-level split and you want this nice big 2-story, your 4-level split will probably, well,
It'll max out at some price.
it'll max out,
Yeah.
right? And there'll be a certain point where is that you won't see that increase of maybe where that 2-story is that you're looking for, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of, you know, I think that's also where we're able to educate our clients and to guide them through the process, because we, you know, we have our finger on the pulse in this market,
Yeah.
right? So it's just, I think it's an adjustment that people need to make, and it's not, you know, it's an evolving market.
Yeah, I was talking to a new client, well, I worked with in the past, and they're moving back to Saskatoon, and I was just saying, like, you need to be the first one in on that property, and you need to be able to, like, make it a priority. Like, it's not to where, oh, you know what, I'm going to the lake, I'm doing this, and then they say, oh, not enough properties have hit the market. They've hit it. It's just who's going to win out and be able to buy that property over somebody else,
Yeah.
right? So,
And it's also that preparation, like we were saying, with the education day, going out, seeing the bad before you can recognize the good, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, there's a lot of bad, well, maybe not bad properties, but maybe not the most desirable properties that are still selling for good dollar value. And then once you see that, you know, that one that has all the bells and whistles that you're looking for, you have to understand of where that value is probably there on that property, you
Right.
know? And I've had many people that have said, I don't think that the value's there on that home, and that home sold that day in multiple offers.
You know what? And it
know?
happens a lot of times when we start working with clients. I mean, they don't understand the value of properties until maybe they've missed out on a couple.
Yeah.
And then that changes, right? And then they go, oh, okay, now I understand this market, right?
Yeah.
And then unfortunately, sometimes you have to miss a couple, and it's not an easy market, right? But we're here to support our clients and to help them figure out their journey, because everybody's journey is totally different of what they're looking for in timelines and so forth. And sometimes waiting and I think you said this a little bit, breaking down like where your property value might not increase the same as the one that you're looking for.
Right.
You don't always have a lot of time. So you don't want to buy, like you want to be patient for the right property to come available, but at the same time, it's like, it's going to just keep on increasing from, at least I think, our perspective.
Well, you got to be prepared. You got to have your I's dotted, your T's crossed, and ready to put your best foot forward. Otherwise, the next property that if you lose this one, more than likely the next one's going to be a little bit more money.
And to have your house prepped, ready to go, prepared to go onto the market so that we can take pictures within season, right? We don't take pictures like, so if you go to, we can prep your home, get it ready for sale and do certain things, but we're not going to take pictures of your property right now because maybe it's spring when we go to actually list it. So then we would take pictures in that season so that it's relative, right? So, but yeah, I think we've covered a lot for people today.
I think it was very educational. Greg.
Well, you know what? I like working with you. So yeah, I appreciate
We're stuck together.
Yeah, we are kind of stuck as brothers. It's kind of like, yeah.
Well,
some days maybe we choose.
Some days I stay home. Yeah. But, you know, in regards, though, is that if anybody is looking for, you know, some advice from either Greg or myself, we're happy to be there. Bamford & Co., you know, like I said, is that we do know what's going on in the market, and we're there to educate our clients and be able to help them the best that we can, right? So, you know, if anybody is reaching out, is that please, you know, we're here for you, and we're here to listen and to help you guys guide you through the process.
Another thing is that we actually moved brokerages. We're with Coldwell Banker Signature.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, for sure. So a lot of amazing things that's happening with our team and the growth and adding other agents and other team members and another admin. And we're excited for 2025. And it's kind of added a really fresh new look to what we have to offer, right? And always focusing on client experience and how to make it, I guess, the best experience it can be for our clients. So we want to, I guess, have you join us for the next year and how we're going to grow.
Yeah. So if you are, you know, follow us on social media. We are on Spotify, Apple, and then also YouTube as well for the podcast. So feel free, and hope you guys are enjoying what we're putting out here.
Yeah, and if you have any questions or anything that you want us to I guess cover, or anybody that you think would be awesome to have on to our podcast, Ryan or I can interview him, or both of us can interview that person. We can go from there.
Thanks again, Greg. Always a treat.